In today's breaking story, Trump has been left stunned as the Pentagon just dropped a devastating bombshell. That's right, things are not going so well for Donald Trump. He is absolutely losing control of everything around him. He's totally lost control of his forever spiraling approval rating.
So the president says things are great. What do the voters say?
No, I think is the answer. 6 months in, the rules of political gravity absolutely apply to Donald Trump, and the USS Donald Trump is taking on a lot of water. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating. Look, he started off back in January +6 points on the net approval rating, -3 in March, -7 in May, and now he's at a term too low at -11 points. His net approval rating has dropped nearly 20 points in the aggregate since the beginning of his presidency. The American people do not like what they're seeing, and Donald Trump's administration is in a ton of trouble at this point in the minds of the American voters.
Well, on what issues do the American voters seem to disapprove of him?
They disapprove of him on all of the issues. He's underwater on all the major issues of the day. Trump's net approval rating on all the major issues, -5 points on immigration, his best issue. He's underwater. How about the economy? That was what he was elected for. -14 points. How about foreign policy? -14 points. How about trade and those tariff wars? -15 points. And of course, the Epstein case, the lowest of the bunch, -37 points, 37 points below water. My goodness gracious. On every single issue, Donald Trump is below water on all the major ones. They're all dragging him down. No matter, it seems, what Donald Trump does, the American people do not like it. And that is why at this particular point, he's at a term too low.
Now, Trump might even be losing control of his own mental processing.
Let's run through this official list, okay, of dementia symptoms from the Mayo Clinic, all right? Now, first, I want to say that doctors warn it's unethical to diagnose someone you haven't actually examined, but I'm not a doctor, okay? So let's go, all right? Symptom number 1, memory loss. As in, Donald, do you remember that you appointed Jerome Powell to be chairman of the Federal Reserve in 2018?
I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in.
Memory loss, check, okay? He's stealing Biden's whole flow, word for word, bar for bar, okay? I bet Biden's somewhere watching this thinking, where am I? Next symptom, problems with communication and finding the correct words.
As a linguist, translator, and cryptologic technician.
Check, okay?
And now Trump is losing control of his own Pentagon. That's right. In today's top story, Trump has been left stunned as the Pentagon just dropped a devastating bombshell. Take a look at this. In a stunning development, a group of top Pentagon insiders has just gone nuclear on their own leadership. A coalition of senior Defense Department officials from every branch but the Coast Guard is preparing to release a blistering public letter demanding the immediate firing of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. And for Donald Trump, the fallout could be catastrophic. According to reports, the letter, drafted in secret since May, describes Hegseth as dangerously incompetent, erratic, and obsessed with his image rather than national security. Pentagon staff accuse him of creating a toxic atmosphere filled with paranoia, dysfunction, and political witch hunts. One insider didn't hold back, telling the Daily Mail he has no clue what he's doing. The letter slams Hegseth for turning the Pentagon into a vanity circus. Critics say he installed a personal makeup studio, regularly stages photo ops lifting weights with troops, and has reduced the Defense Department to what one official called a cross between a sweat lodge and World Wrestling Entertainment. And these aren't partisan jabs from the outside. These are voices from within, longtime Pentagon employees with decades of service, now in open revolt. This marks a new level of chaos for the Trump administration. The president is already under fire from cratering approval ratings, growing mental health concerns whispered even within his own party, and an economic backlash from corporate giants like General Motors and Amazon. Now even the intelligence and defense infrastructure under his direct control is beginning to fracture. The letter also slams Hegseth's reckless decisions, like deploying 4,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles during ICE protests, despite unanimous opposition from internal advisors. It accuses him of gutting diversity programs, leading to a spike in racist incidents and plummeting morale, One official said non-white colleagues now feel like they don't deserve to be here. So far, Trump's team is brushing it all off. A DoD spokesperson called the Revolt palace intrigue and sensationalized gossip, claiming Americans don't care. But behind the scenes, the president is reportedly blindsided. The man who once bragged about having total control over the military now faces a mutiny from within, and he didn't see it coming. With this bombshell, Trump's grip on power looks shakier than ever. First, he lost the narrative, then public trust, and now even his own generals are turning on him. And if this letter goes public, it won't just be a PR disaster, it could signal the beginning of a full-blown collapse in his authority. Yeah, at the end of the day, it seems as though Donald Trump's choice, Pete Hegseth, is on incredibly thin ice. And I'm not surprised. This is, after all, what happens when you choose a loyal clown over someone with actual experience. You set yourself up for humiliation.